Atheists lie, even to themselves. Atheism, often presented as a bastion of reason and logic, is, at its core, a belief system predicated on denying what is plainly evident. Despite its claims of objectivity and intellectual superiority, atheism is inherently biased, deeply rooted in materialism, secularism, and a rejection of anything that transcends the physical world. This essay examines how atheists deceive themselves by clinging to their worldview, dismissing obvious truths, and allowing their biases to close their eyes to reality. The religion of atheism. Denial of truth. Atheists often deny they adhere to any religion, yet their fervent devotion to materialism and naturalism functions as a belief system. They claim the universe and life are accidents of chance, rejecting the overwhelming evidence of design and purpose. This denial stems not from a lack of evidence, but from their unwillingness to consider the implications of a creator. As philosopher Alvin Plantinga notes, if there is a God, atheism is not merely mistaken, it is irrational. The biases of atheism. 1. Confirmation bias. Atheists often seek out evidence that supports their worldview while ignoring or dismissing data that challenges it. Studies have shown that humans are prone to confirmation bias, but atheists, in their rejection of the supernatural, take this to an extreme. They dismiss arguments for intelligent design or the fine-tuning of the universe as unscientific without fully engaging with the evidence. Example, physicist Paul Davies has highlighted the fine-tuning of the universe, yet atheists dismiss such observations by appealing to speculative multiverse theories, which lack empirical support. This demonstrates their willingness to embrace baseless theories over uncomfortable truths. 2. Materialistic bias. Atheists insist that only material explanations are valid, excluding anything that suggests purpose or design. This bias closes their eyes to the possibility of the spiritual, restricting their critical thinking ability. As philosopher Thomas Nagel admits, "I want atheism to be true, and am made uneasy by the fact that some of the most intelligent and well-informed people I know are religious believers." Impact. This bias leads atheists to reduce human experience, love, morality, consciousness, to mere chemical processes, stripping life of its depth and meaning. 3. Secular bias. Atheists often conflate secularism with progress, assuming that religious belief is outdated or irrelevant. This bias closes their eyes to faith's significant role in history, culture, and morality. The secular worldview has led to an increase in nihilism and moral relativism as atheists struggle to establish a coherent basis for ethics. The consequences of atheistic bias. 1. Blinded to design. Atheists dismiss the idea that complexity and order imply a designer. Yet, as scientist Fred Hoyle famously observed, the chance that higher life forms might have emerged in this way by chance is comparable with the chance that a tornado sweeping through a junkyard might assemble a Boeing 747. Atheists counter such arguments with appeals to randomness, demonstrating their refusal to acknowledge the evident signs of purpose in nature. 2. Moral relativism. Atheism undermines the foundation for objective morality, leading to a worldview where right and wrong are subjective. Without God, atheists struggle to justify the existence of moral absolutes. As Dostoevsky wrote, "If God does not exist, everything is permitted." This lack of moral grounding has societal consequences. For instance, atheistic regimes of the 20th century, such as Stalinist Russia and Maoist China, were responsible for the deaths of millions. These regimes, founded on atheistic principles, viewed human life as expendable. 3. Intellectual arrogance. Atheists often dismiss believers as irrational or uneducated, yet data reveals otherwise. Studies, such as the Pew Research Center's Religious Landscape Study, show that religious individuals often exhibit higher life satisfaction and community involvement levels than their secular counterparts. This suggests that faith provides a framework for understanding life that atheism lacks. The likelihood of atheistic deception. Psychological studies indicate that atheists, like all humans, are prone to cognitive biases that shape their worldview. However, their dogmatic adherence to materialism exacerbates these biases. Research published in Cognitive Science 2014 found that atheists are more likely to rely on reason than intuition, yet their presuppositions often constrain their reasoning. Atheists deny the obvious. The greatest self-deception of atheism is its refusal to acknowledge the evidence for God. As the Apostle Paul wrote, "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse." Romans 1:20. Atheists lie even to themselves when they claim there is no evidence for God, for the evidence is all around them, in the cosmos, in the complexity of life, and the human longing for meaning. Conclusion. Atheism, despite its claims to intellectual rigor, is riddled with bias and self-deception. Its adherents deny apparent truths, blinded by their devotion to materialism, secularism, and a rejection of the supernatural. By refusing to consider the possibility of God, atheists limit their ability to think critically and fully engage with the evidence. As believers, we must continue challenging these biases, presenting the truth with reason, compassion, and unwavering faith. The truth, after all, will set us free.